Hello, bibliophiles. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tashvi, and this is Literature Lover. So, here we are for the second reading vlog of the year. As we know, this was meant for February, but the prompt for the month of February was a Paulo Coelho novel, and we had decided on Veronika Decides To Die. So, as I mentioned, I will be reading this on my Kindle. I have bought the book. I have it right here open, and I am excited. I have read Paulo Coelho novels before. I have a sort of idea of his writing. In fact, I do enjoy his writing. The first book I ever read was The Alchemist, which I think is the obvious choice for a lot of people when they start getting into Paulo Coelho novels. And I read The Alchemist back in 10th grade, and it was enlightening. It was just, I had my own form of spiritual awakening while reading that. You can find, shameless plug, or is it shameless? You can find the review of The Alchemist on my Instagram page. I think it was one of my first aesthetic archives. So yeah, I ever since then I did read The Archer by Paulo Coelho as well. It was again an enlightening read, and there is a lot of annotation. I love annotating, especially for Paulo Coelho novels. There's just another vibe to it all. And I am super excited to read this because I have been hearing how good it is for a while. I would say, like, ever since 7th grade, I've heard people talking about Veronika Decides To Die. A friend of mine did own that book. You know who you are if you're watching. She owned that book, so I do know how the book, I mean, it's kind of obvious from the title itself that Veronika decides to die, but I do know that Veronika kills herself at the end. Is it implied by the title? Was it a spoiler? I don't think so, but I do know that. I am aware vaguely of what entails. It was definitely an interesting choice for the month of February, though, I must say. Reading such a story in the month of February, lined with an entire Valentine's week, was an interesting way to go, I must say. But it's not February no more. We are in April. And I want to just get into reading this book. Like I mentioned, I love Paulo Coelho and I cannot wait to start. So I will stop blabbering and I will start reading. So I'm saying a lot of so's. I checked the number of pages this book has. It is 211. So I don't know if it's a reach for me to say I'll read at least 50 pages a day and probably get it over in the next 5 days or so and edit it and put it out there. But a girl can dream, a girl can hope. So let's hope that there are no interruptions. And let's get into the video. Hi. So it has been a while. I was busy with a lot of spending time with family and busy with the theater production. And recently, in the past 1 week, I was also busy with shifting. I am in my flat now, and As you can see, the setup is very different. I got a new phone, so if there's any footage variation, it is because I got a new phone, so the camera changed and everything. But here we are. I have gone through like 79% of the book. I am thoroughly enjoying the book, the way Paulo Coelho writes. I mean, I had no doubt the moment I picked up this book, but he does not prove me wrong. It is beautiful writing. We are in this clinical setup of Villette, and the way everything is talked about. We are jumping through point of views of different characters in Villette, but primarily following Veronika. And I genuinely am so intrigued by Veronika's character because reading about her, reading the story is, as Paulo Coelho always does, is full of a life lesson. And seeing Veronica just initially practically lost and trying to unalive herself ultimately develops a fondness for her life, but with the twist of now she is bound to die. Now she has this severe heart condition and she barely has a week or so, and so she wants to live her life to the fullest, and she is realizing that she could have broken out of the same boring life routine that she was in, and that she had the choice to do it, but she never really realized that she wanted to become a pianist, but because of her parents telling her not to and to keep it as a hobby, and not really ever trying to break free from the same 9 to 5 routines and doing the same old schedules of going on dates with lovers and coming back. She could have broken out of that. And to realize that when you have about a week left, it's it puts your own life into perspective. To live to the fullest, that, that you're gonna die one day. So live life to the fullest now, because that one day you don't know when that one day is going to be. So I was interrupted by some background noise. As I was saying, the story also does an incredible job of handling the debate of conformity versus being unique, being different. It is again done through various different characters, but specifically to the character of Marie, and of course her conversations with Dr. Igor, I think it's Igor, and they have this beautiful conversation of how some things are just the norm because of common sense. Like it would be difficult to have buttons of a shirt at the back. They'll be harder to, button up. And hence, it is a norm for them to be in the front. But there are certain things that just because the society, a larger a larger part of society became used to a certain thing, that became a norm. And that being different from society is not the quote unquote illness, but wanting to constantly conform is in fact the illness that we're here talking about. Because in the case of Marie, especially, she came to Villette because of her panic attacks. And for her to realize that, sorry, yes, as I was saying, she came to Villette because of her panic attacks, and then she didn't want to return even after the panic attack subsided, because she was afraid to be different in her old life and was not ready to get out of being free and being who she was and going into a life where she has to conform to everything in society and return back to her old life. And this conversation was so beautiful. Like, I will read it out loud, this portion. Let me find it. Yes. So Marie had asked, is wanting to be different a serious illness? So okay, a little context before that. So this is the situation, and after during that time, Marie asks, is she cured? And Dr. Igor replies, no, you're someone who is different but who wants to be the same as everyone else, and that, in my view, is a serious illness. She goes on to counter and asks, is wanting to be different a serious illness? To which he replies so beautifully with, it is if you force yourself to be the same as everyone else. It causes neuroses, psychoses, and paranoia. It is a distortion of nature. It goes against God's laws. For in all the world's woods and forests, he did not create a single leaf the same as another. But you think it's mad to be different, and that's why you chose to live in Villette, because everyone is different here, and so you appear to be the same as everyone else. Do you understand? It's again, it's written in very simple words, but the depth behind it, I have said this a million times before, and I will say it a million times over. I love how simple yet deep and profound Paulo Coelho can be. Of course, this book till now, there are certain moments where I am a little put off because it reflects the discriminations and biases of the society at that time. Like, there's this one character, Edward, and before he came to Villette, he was in Brazil for some time. And there, I mean, this is the time when he was still a teenager, and he was not socializing with people. And when he finally got a girlfriend, it is evident, it is clearly mentioned that this particular doubt of his parents was dissipated, that he might be homosexual. So, I mean, all of those things, the aspect of his parents not wanting him to marry a quote unquote exotic girl, and that they would prefer if he marries someone from France or Germany or something. The slight discrimination against women, it's evident how people with mental illnesses are treated. Just struggles in general. One of the characters has depression, she was outcasted, and just little things. It especially coming from a psychology background, it is interesting. And I am interrupted again. Yes, as I was saying, coming from a psychology background, it is so interesting to see the setting of such an environment in such a time where psychology, the study of psychology, had not progressed as much, and people were still in the hit and trial phase. Yes, I'm going to cut all of this, maybe. I don't know. Yes, as I was saying, seeing those little things of them talking about how ECT was a lot different when people were freeballing it and how it has evolved over time. Little little talks about different kinds of treatment that is at this point even illegal to do because of human rights, like insulin shock. And reading about all of this, not from an academic standpoint, but reading it from a story perspective of where you are immersed into the setting and you're practically living in that environment, it is beautiful. A character I absolutely am enjoying. Yes, Veronica is interesting, but a character I enjoyed much more than Veronica would be this character Zedka. She has just exited the storyline. I don't know if she returns, but she was finally cured of her depression and she was freed from Villette. So I don't know if we're going to have a reappearance of her again, but I absolutely adore her character. It is some lines she has said, some conversations she has had with Veronica are just eye opening. Also, this tight line being walked between psychology and spirituality, especially with Zedka. It is beautifully done, and I am thoroughly enjoying it till now. I will update you once I have finished the book now. So, I have finished Veronica Decides to Die. Finally, honestly, it felt like it took forever, yet such little time as well, because when I was reading, it just whooshed past. And honestly, when I was not, like, clearly, it has been over a month. So here I am at the end of it. And the ending definitely threw me off guard because someone gave me the wrong spoilers. Well, I wouldn't even call it spoilers. I would just say wrong information because, well, Veronica does not die in the end. I don't know who was trying to mislead me, but they did. Regardless of the wrong information that I got, I thoroughly enjoyed the plot twist of an ending where Veronica does live because she never had the heart problem in the first place. It was shocking, yet honestly so believable because in the era of psychology studies that the story is set in, it is heavily believable that someone would pull off something like that just to have someone as a guinea pig for experimentation. And that is exactly what Dr. Igor does by making Veronika believe that she is going to, you know, visit God within the next week when she did not have a weak heart in the first place. He was just doing it so that he could understand and study more of the concept of the vitriol he was talking about and find a cure to it. And in a way, it kind of did work because with Veronika knowing that she had only a week, she really put her life into perspective and decided to cherish it and honestly regained her will to live. So, hell yes. The plot twist was, it kind of threw me off guard because when Veronika was climbing up the hill to the palace, I was like, she's going to get a heart attack and die. Her heart's too weak for this. And then she did not. And then we did think that she died, but then we got back to Villette and Dr. Igor. We go back into Dr. Igor's psyche, and he was lying the entire time. Well, whatever. It was something. It was an interesting read. It was a fun read. Obviously, I love Paulo Coelho, and so I continue to respect him more after this one. I have again made some notes. Well, it's not really notes. I have noted down. Ignore that. There is going to be a lot of disturbances because I am I'm shooting next to my balcony, and primarily because my roommate decided to fall asleep in the living room where I was planning to shoot. No hate to you. You sleep. You are tired, regardless. And again, I do not have my glasses because I refuse to wear my glasses regardless of how blind I am. So if I'm squinting or look weird while reading whatever rating I have given, um, please ignore that. So, like last time, I will be rating this book on four primary aspects: the pen's poise, plot strength, character engagement, and overall experience. Starting from pen's poise. In the case of Paulo Coelho, I've always known this, and this book again has reiterated my belief that his writing isn't too flowery. It's very simple in its basic nature, and it's the profundity within those words. Should you choose to go deeper into it, that really tugs your heartstrings. It's not the level of language used, it is more of what the words make you feel. Hence, I would give it a rating of 3.5 out of 5 stars. For plot strength, like I mentioned, the plot twist was like, whoa, 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 what happened? But at the same time, I would say the plot was fairly simple. It was engaging, yet simple. It wasn't something absolutely crazy out of the ballpark kind of a situation. It was simple, but again, The engagement was there. I was always caring for the story. The message was there, and the plot twist definitely got a reaction out of me. So I would again give plot strength 3.5 out of 5. As for character engagement, I thoroughly enjoyed the characters. Yes, Veronika was an interesting work of art, but other characters were just as interesting as her. As I previously mentioned, I loved Zetka, I loved Marie, but also Edward. Oh my god. His story in general, but also just the relationship he developed with Veronika. He is such a sweet angel boy, and I love him. Honestly, he is just such a sweet angel boy. We love Edward. We truly love Edward. There were quotes of his that the moment I read, I sent a screenshot of it to my friends. Like, I love Edward. I so love Edward, honestly. So, yes, I did enjoy the characters, and so I give character engagement 4 out of 5. As for experience, as I mentioned, the experience in itself was wonderful. It also put my own life into perspective. In a way, just adding that spark of motivation to live life to the fullest and not give two F's about everything else in life, and just be yourself, just be different and go crazy and toe the line between normal and madness. Be different. So, the experience in general, every page had something new to unfurl. I would love to reread the book as well just to see how deeper I can go further into it. Yes, I was wondering when I was going to drop something in this video because apparently at this point it is a known fact I will drop something at some point in the video. I'm not going to even edit it out, it's staying in the video. So, yeah, since the experience was wonderful, I would also give the experience 4 out of 5, which ultimately gives us 15 out of 20. So that would be roughly 3.75 stars, rounded off to 4 stars. So, yeah, that is my review for Veronika Decides to Die. You can find my written review on my website, Literature Lover by Tashvi, as well as the Aesthetic Archives on my Instagram page, which is also linked in my description along with my website. Please go check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me about your opinions on the book. Share what you felt throughout it, and what is one aspect that this book made you rethink about your life. Comment down below and go show some love. Love you. Bye, bibliophiles.